The conference room aboard the Celestial Harmony fell silent as Samantha leaned back in her chair, arms crossed over her chest. The 5 Valorian soldiers stood at attention, their crystalline armor gleaming under the ship's bioluminescent panels. They were the Elite One, a decorated warrior who had seen action across a dozen systems. With all due respect, Human Commander Zixthera clicked, his mandibles twitching in what Samantha had learned was the Valorian equivalent of a patronizing smile. We have neutralized threats on 7 different worlds. The Krath hive nest you're describing is well within our operational parameters. Samantha's dark eyes swept across the assembled team. Besides Zixara, there were 4 others. 2 heavy weapons specialists, a shield technician, and a reconnaissance expert. All of them regarded her with that same mixture of polite condescension and barely concealed amusement that she'd encountered since leaving Earth. 5 of you won't be enough, she said quietly. Andrew, the only other human on the vessel and Samantha's research partner, shifted uncomfortably beside her. He'd been with the Galactic Council's Xenobiology Division for 3 years. But Samantha had only joined 6 months ago, fresh from Earth. From the world the galaxy had designated as a Class 12 Deathworld. Samantha, maybe we should defer to their expertise, Andrew began, but she cut him off with a slight shake of her head. I've read your reports, she continued, addressing the You fought the Krath on Hylian Prime desert environment. Limited vegetation, atmospheric pressure at 0.7 standard. The Krath there was sluggish, manageable. They were still formidable opponents, Zixthera insisted, his translator rendering his irritation in clipped tones. I'm sure they were, Samantha agreed. But Kepler-4, for to be, isn't Helion Prime. It's a jungle world. Timidity at 90%, gravity at 1.3 standard, atmospheric pressure at 1.1, and an oxygen content of 23%. She stood, walking to the view screen and pulling up the planet's data. Those numbers might not mean much to you, but they're almost identical to Earth, and Earth, she paused, letting the weight of that designation sink in, is where things like tigers, crocodiles, and army ants evolved. It's where humans evolved. Andrew watched as the Valorians exchanged glances. He'd seen Samantha in action during their last field assignment, while he'd been gasping in the heavy gravity of a mining colony. She'd been moving like it was nothing because to her, it practically was. The Krath on Kepler-4 for 2b won't be sluggish, Samantha continued. They'll be fast, aggressive, and there will be hundreds of them. Their nest is in a ravine system with limited visibility and multiple choke points. You'll be dealing with them in their element, and it's an element very similar to Earth's. And you believe you could do better? Asked one of the heavy weapons specialists, a challenge clear in her tone. I believe I understand what you're walking into, Samantha replied evenly. On Earth, we have a saying, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. You're skilled warriors, but you've never had to be persistence hunters. You've never had to develop the endurance to chase down prey for hours. You've never had to evolve the ability to regulate body temperature in extreme conditions. She pulled up her own medical file, displaying her baseline statistics. Human standard, can run for hours without stopping, can function in temperatures from -42 plus 50 Celsius, can survive on minimal water for days, can heal from injuries that would be fatal to most species, and possesses an immune system that treats most galactic pathogens as minor inconveniences. Andrew added quietly, the first time I met Samantha, she'd just returned from a solo survey of a swamp planet. She was covered in leeches the size of my arm and was more annoyed than concerned, Because I'd forgotten my salt tablets, Samantha said with a slight smile. My point is this. I'm not trying to insult your capabilities. I'm trying to save your lives. The Krath on Kepler-4 for 2b are going to be faster and more aggressive than anything you've encountered. The environment is going to tax your bodies in ways you're not prepared for. And when things go wrong, and they will need someone who's built for that kind of hell. Zixtherus' mandibles stopped twitching. For the first time, he actually seemed to be listening. What do you propose? Take me with you, Samantha said. And take Andrew. He's been off-world longer and knows Krath behavior patterns better than anyone. You bring your firepower and tactical expertise, and we'll bring our Deathworld advantages. 7 is better than 5. The commander was silent for a long moment, his multifaceted eyes studying Samantha with new calculation. Finally, he gestured to his team. We will. Consider your recommendation. As the Valorians filed out, Andrew let out a breath he'd been holding. You think they'll accept? Samantha watched through the viewport as Kepler-4 to be rotated slowly below them, its green-brown surface shrouded in white clouds. It looked almost like Earth, almost like home. They will, she said, because deep down they know I'm right. Every species in the galaxy learned to survive on their worlds. But humans, we learned to survive on a world that was actively trying to kill us. That makes all the difference. 3 hours later, Zixthera returned. His message was brief. Prepare for deployment. All 7 of us. Samantha smiled. It wasn't a triumphant smile, but a grim one. She knew what awaited them in those ravines. She'd seen similar places on Earth. Beautiful, deadly, unforgiving. But she was from a death world, and that meant she was ready.